Hi, this is a very important day and I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. I'm Maya Van Rossum. I'm both the Delaware Riverkeeper and founder of the organization Green Amendments for the Generations. And we are here from across New Jersey and with some of our legislative champions to urge the New Jersey legislature to give the New Jersey Green Amendment hearings in committees in both the Assembly and the Senate, and to please take a vote to allow the New Jersey Green Amendment to advance through the process. Very simply, the New Jersey Green Amendment will give the same constitutional recognition and protection to the rights of all New Jerseyans, including future generations, to clean water and clean air, a stable climate, and healthy environments, to give the same constitutional recognition that we give to the other human, civil, and political rights we hold here in the state of New Jersey, things like the right to free speech, freedom of religion, and property rights. This should not be a controversial proposal. This is simply common sense. Now, the New Jersey Green Amendment was actually first proposed December 4th of 2017 by an Assemblyman who's no longer even in office. That's nearly 5 years ago. Since that time, we've had one hearing and only one hearing, and that was in October of 2018. And when that hearing took place, there was really powerful testimony put forth, and then the Senate Environment Committee voted on a bipartisan basis to advance the New Jersey Green Amendment. The vote was a supermajority vote, 4 in favor, 1 abstention, and 0 against. Also, since initial proposal in 2017, a survey has been done that's demonstrated that 83% of New Jerseyans believe that the right to clean air and clean water is deserving of constitutional recognition and protection. And that support crosses all demographics: Republicans, Democrats, people of color, white people, young people, old people, people from the South, from the North, and from central New Jersey, all strongly agree we need constitutional protection for our environmental rights. And at this point, we have 60 legislative champions, Democrats and Republicans, all who have come together not just to support constitutional environmental rights here in the state of New Jersey, but they've come together as sponsors of this powerful and important proposal. Right now, today, 3 states, Pennsylvania, Montana, and because of a vote taking place in November of 2021, New York State, are all enjoying the powerful benefits of constitutional green amendments. We think New Jersey should be the 4th state to join that list. But in order for the New Jersey Green Amendment to get there, we need to have fair hearings and a fair process. And that's what brings us all here today. Fundamentally, the Constitution is the people's document. And the people of New Jersey are here today to say, give us a hearing, let us be heard, and take a vote so we know where our legislators stand on our constitutional right to pure water, clean air, a stable climate, and healthy environments. And with that, I want to introduce 2 of our legislative champions. Well, we'll start with one and then we'll go with the other. So first, I'd like to introduce from the Senate, Senator Andrew Zwicker, a powerful champion of our New Jersey Green Amendment. Senator?
Thank you, Maya. I'm so glad to be here. You know, I was thinking, you have the title Riverkeeper, which is just such a wonderful, wonderful title. The idea that we must make sure that we keep our rivers, keep our streams clean and healthy. And so to have our Riverkeeper here today and to stand with everybody here to say it's time for New Jersey to have a green amendment, have the right to clean air and clean water, stable climate, as our Riverkeeper said, is so very, very important. You know, I was thinking as we come here today, as we talk about, we're at a moment when we are going through the New Jersey budget, when we are trying to figure out what we're going to do about lead paint, what we're going to do about lead in our water, what we're going to do about ensuring that pollution is not disproportionately impacting our most vulnerable communities. The thing that we need is the underlying foundation. And that underlying foundation is the Green Amendment. Because at that point, we are saying this is so important that it is in the Constitution of New Jersey that every single New Jerseyan has the right every single day for clean air and clean water. So the other part I want to think about as we come towards Juneteenth this weekend is to not forget that not all pollution is distributed equally, that not every health impact is distributed equally, and that our most vulnerable communities are the ones that are seeing the worst health impacts. And so what we're talking about when we talk about the Green Amendment is we're talking about people's lives and people's health. And that's why this is so time sensitive. That's why this is so urgent. But I am confident with all of you that we are going to get this done, and New Jersey will join the other states and have a Green Amendment and show the rest of the states what can happen. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Senator. And now I'd like to bring to the podium a powerful champion on the Assembly side, Assemblyman John McKeon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Is this step stool for me?
That is.
Yeah, for sure. It's for my partner and champion, co-champion, Mila, Jasey, who I'm sure will address everybody in a moment. So are we all excited, everybody? Come on.
Yeah.
This is a rally. We got to get ready and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Listen, Andrew spoke, Senator Andrew spoke so beautifully as it relates to what this is all about. And truth be told, everybody, I'm preaching to the choir here, but just think about what's gone on in this world, how all of the predictions as it related to the, to the planet warming and what that would bring. All we need to do is look out west and understand what Lake Mead looks like, what all of the areas that are now parched in what is really the breadbasket of our country. Think of the cataclysmic weather that has been here and will come, again, just to the coast of our nation as we just start hurricane season. That doesn't even take into account, just this entire Earth and the polar caps and Europe, and just it's happening. And we all are doing everything we can as a multi-approach to try to change the rules, change through science the way that we deliver our energy. And we just need to be all together in this. I can think of no way than imbuing in our Constitution the right to clean air, the right to clean water. And collectively, if we work hard enough through leadership, through the 60 of us that are co-sponsors, we're going to get there. So everybody, God bless, think green, and let's get it done.
Always hard to follow my partner, John. All I want to add to that is not only is this important for us, it's important for future generations. And as the speakers were speaking, I was thinking about my mom. She and I last night watched a special on Channel 13. It was an hour special on Florida. And the devastating things that are happening in Florida because of climate change, because of population or overdevelopment. And then I thought about my 7 grandchildren who live here in New Jersey and who want to stay in New Jersey. We did a lot to convince their parents to do that. It's really, really important that we provide clean air, clean water, and parks and recreation spaces for all of them. So it's about our future as well as our present. Thank you so much for everything that you do. We will get this done this year, I hope. Right?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, Assemblywoman Jasey. She's a powerful, powerful champion, and she's right. With just a 2/3 vote in the Assembly and a 2/3 vote in the Senate, we could then have a vote of the people before the end of the year. So with that, I'm going to bring to the podium Terrance Bankston. He's representing Clean Water Action and South Ward Environmental Alliance.
Good morning to everyone. Again, I'm Terrance Bankston. I am the statewide New Jersey organizer, environmental justice organizer for Clean Water Action, and also a proud member of the South Ward Environmental Alliance. Big shout out to the executive director, Kim Gaddy, who could not be here today. If the state of New Jersey and our legislators fails to grant the people of New Jersey a hearing for the Green Amendment, it would be a slap in the face of environmental justice leaders and organizations statewide. We represent EJ communities throughout the state, and it would not fare well with our numerous EJ partners and our network of over 100,000 members, residents of New Jersey. The right to clean water and air has been moving at a pace of a snail, meaning too slow. Once again, New Jersey is left behind versus trailblazing and setting or joining national trends. Assembly member Engelbright in New York said it was harder to get it done in New York. What's the holdup in New Jersey? When he said it was hard to get it done in New York, in the same breath, he also stated it was important to not just protect the people of the now, but future generations. And the best way to do that is through the NJ Green Amendment. In New Mexico this year, the resolution to approve New Mexico's Green Amendment garnered 28 co-sponsors compared to just 4 in 2021, signaling the growth support for constitutional environmental protections. Unlike New Jersey, the amendment, after passing the legislature during their 30-day session, will go straight to voters this November. And so we're excited when we hear the possibility that this will happen this year. Lastly, when I think of environmental justice communities like Trenton, Camden, Roselle, Linden, Elizabeth, Irvington, Newark, Paterson, and Jersey City, I think of the lack of protection for Black and brown residents. The New Jersey Green Amendment will ensure my complexion also has protection. It's time to ensure that all communities, regardless of race or income, have the same rights to clean and healthy environments, requiring the government to protect all communities in an equitable manner. No longer should New Jersey environmentally sacrifice some versus sacrificing none. The Green Amendments are self-executive provisions added to the Bill of Rights section of the Constitution that recognizes and protects the rights of all people, including the future generations. We want pure water, clean air, a stable climate, and healthy environments. Let's continue to stand for what is right, and what's right is granting the people a hearing much sooner versus later. Thank you.
Margaret from the New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition.
I'd like to start off by saying I'm really happy to see all the students that are here today. It really shows our power in this movement and the voice we have here. So, hello, my name is Margaret Berei, and I am the Green Amendment co-coordinator with the New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition, which is an organization of 500 plus students statewide that provides youth with a network to get involved in environmental activism and civic engagement. Today, some of our students have come down to Trenton to raise their voices in support of a New Jersey Green Amendment. So why does it feel like very few are listening to our voices? Our students have trained, in my case, missed school, and volunteered to come here today for the chance to raise their voices to truly be heard. They understand the impacts this bill would have on their future and know desperately that security is needed as the climate and world around us continue to change. Today is that first step. But what we really need is a legislative hearing on the New Jersey Green Amendment. This is a chance for legislators to encourage civic engagement in politics instead of turning us away. This is a chance for our voices to be heard, but also respected. Please listen and hold a hearing on the New Jersey Green Amendment, and not just for students, but for all of New Jersey's current and future residents. Thank you.
And now, since we haven't been given a hearing before the legislature, we're going to have a series of short statements from a number of residents and organizations. So, Melissa Marks.
Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa Marks. I'm with the League of Women Voters of New Jersey. So just as the League of Women Voters of New Jersey believes that we have a fundamental right to vote, we believe that everyone has a fundamental right, a fundamental right to clean air, clean water, and a healthy environment. So that is why we support the Green Amendment. It's 2022, and we are still fighting new sources of pollution, new power plants, new carbon emitters. We have known for decades that these have very negative effects on our environment, and yet not enough has changed. New Jersey has an opportunity to draw a line in the sand to give its residents the right to breathe clean air. As our legislators continue to show support by sponsoring this legislation, it's disheartening to see that it continues to stall. The Green Amendment deserves to be heard in committee, and New Jersey residents deserve to have their voices heard as well. So we stand with the Empower New Jersey Coalition and our allies across the state, urging our legislators to stand up, our leadership to stand up and get this important measure moving forward. Thank you.
Right. My name is Rachel Dawn Davis. I am the Public Policy and Justice Organizer for Waterspirit, a nonprofit spiritual ecology center and ministry of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace. And I brought the Green Amendment to Waterspirit because I believe so deeply in this constitutional reality that other states have, many other states are vying for, and our state should have already. I started out, much like Margaret, as a student activist. And I thought that there were laws that we could potentially pass that would be strong enough, and I was wrong. It took a lot of time and a lot of effort to realize just how wrong I was. You see these pieces of legislation get watered down, for lack of a better term. And they're not strong enough. They're not good enough for me when I was a student. They were not good enough for any child. Certainly not any children into the future, of which now these students are here. Much like my daughter, who I somehow believed that we would have all of these things in place while she was born. And at 6 o'clock tonight, 10 years ago, I gave birth to her. So today would be a great day to give her the gift of a Green Amendment in New Jersey, because it's what we have always deserved. New Jersey has unfortunately been a laggard when it comes to prolonging slavery and poverty, as we've heard about, and corruption. And we do not have to wait any longer on this. Legislators, you do not need to be afraid of this legislation. We have majority support. It's clearly apolitical. This is not a political issue. This is the issue of our time. If we do not have a planet to live on, we do not have life. And that is it. So we see these potential leaders as being supportive of the existing students and young people, and all of those future young people who are the most large voting bloc coming to the State House. I suggest highly that these leaders make sure that this is a priority today, now. Do not wait. You have all the support in the world, certainly from everyone in New Jersey, as Maya has outlined. Everyone. This is for everyone. Not just one group, not just people who profit from doing wrong, but everyone. Thank you so much. Let's pass the Green Amendment. Absolutely start with a hearing and give these people in New Jersey the right to choose, just like they did in New York. When it was so hard, it's not that hard. Where there's a will, there's a way. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Ray Nichols. I thank you for coming here, for being able to come here today. I'm here because of my religious beliefs. I represent FaithAction of New Jersey. This organization coordinates grassroots social justice advocacy with our member congregations, individual Unitarian Universalists, and our allies across the state. We work to establish a just and compassionate public policy that is consistent with Unitarian Universalist principles and purposes. These purposes include upholding the worth and dignity of every person, furthering justice, equity, and compassion in human relations, ensuring the use of the democratic process, and promoting respect for that interdependent web of all existence of which we are just a part. Consistent with these principles, we believe that every person has a right to a clean and healthy environment, including pure water, clean air, and ecologically healthy habitats. Unfortunately, our current laws have proven inadequate to protect those inalienable rights. The sad truth is that our environmental protection laws are really designed to accommodate pollution rather than to prevent it. For decades, in accordance with those laws, NJDEP has issued permits to pollute our air and water. They've also issued authorizations to fill wetlands and clear-cut forests. As a result, most people feel powerless when it comes to preserving the quality of the air they must inhale, the water they must drink, their ability to go into public parks and see special natural spaces. Environmental justice committees have been particularly hard hit, bearing a disproportionate placement and expansion of polluting industrial operations. In the hierarchy of protecting our sacred and inalienable rights, our Constitution is supreme. Therefore, we believe that the proposed Green Amendment to New Jersey's state constitution, as spelled out in SCR 30 and ACR 80, are necessary This amendment is necessary to safeguard the environmental rights of all people and to protect the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. For several years, many of our elected legislators, as you've heard, have agreed to co-sponsor the pending concurrent resolutions. Now we call upon the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the Assembly, as part of the democratic process they're sworn to uphold, to do whatever is necessary to bring the concurrent resolutions to a vote in the near future. We want to see the proposed amendment on the November ballot. Thank you.
I'm Nishtha. I'm a student, and I'm a current student at Drew University, and I'm interning with the Environmental Education Fund. And for as long as I can know, I have always been a student. And that's where this comes into play. As a student, you want a better world, not just for yourself, but the ones around you. And environmental justice is something that I have worked and been a part of very closely. I come from a country, and I'm an international student, I come from a country where clean water is not a sheer thing. And after coming to the US and seeing that it's been so hard to get this bill amendment passed as a part of the Bill of Rights, it baffles me, because this is a country where people's rights are always put forward. And in my opinion, the right to clean water, a pollution-free environment, and a change, and the will to make a change so that climate change does not affect us as severely as it is doing now in 10 years coming on, seems like a basic right that the people should have. In today's world, everything's so expensive, but making a change costs you nothing, because it needs just the people to agree. And the Green Amendment is something, as we have seen, so many people, New Jersey residents, the state of New Jersey agrees is necessary. I have personally talked with a lot of New Jersey residents over the last few weeks who see this as a great opportunity for change and a requirement. And again, as a student, I'm going to be here for a while, and being a country which is for its people, providing the rights the people want, seems like a everyday job that should be taken into account. Let's pass this amendment. It's needed, and we need this, and we want this.
My name is Christian Wright, and I'm representing the New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition as their social media coordinator. As a recently graduated high school student, we can all agree that there's plenty to worry about in regards to my future. Who I want to be, where I want to live, what do I want to study. With these millions of things buzzing in my head, it would be nice to alleviate some of this stress, specifically in the notion that would be able to breathe in my future. Therefore, as you may have been hearing a lot today about the genuine urgency that's needed for the Green Amendment out on the floor and into the NJ voters' hands. So not only for the sake of my future, but for the sake of my future generations and my kids in the future. So can we please get this out on the floor to get voted on? Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name's Natalie, Francesco. I'm with Clean Water Action, and I'm currently a student at Rutgers University. After living in Jersey all my life, and pretty much anywhere in the United States, clean air and clean water should not be up for debate. After seeing Hurricane Ida and how it devastated New Brunswick and all over central Jersey, watching the Raritan River overflow, filled with mud water and trees, it became very apparent to me that this is a dangerous issue. Climate change and the disasters that come with it are extremely detrimental, especially to minority communities. Because of these issues, I definitely think it's possible, and we definitely should pass this year. The Green Amendment will help my generation and future generations survive. Without it, we can't. Thank you.
My name is Bridget Brady, and I'm here on behalf of the Delaware Riverkeeper Network. Since 2013, the Delaware Riverkeeper Network has proudly championed the rights of all people of Pennsylvania to clean air, pure water, and healthy environment. Just last November, we helped the people of New York pass their own Green Amendment, protecting their right to clean air and water and a healthful environment. And just yesterday, the state of Delaware heard their own Green Amendment in the House Administration Committee. So why is it that here in New Jersey, a state that prides itself as one of the most environmentally progressive and protective states in our watershed, are we unable to even have a committee hearing on our Green Amendment after 5 long years? We're calling on our legislators today to bring the Green Amendment to committee hearings for discussion and to pass this constitutional amendment through the legislature so that the people of New Jersey can decide for themselves whether or not they want the right to pure water, clean air, a stable climate, and healthy environments at the ballot. This is not about politics, as is clear by the bipartisan sponsorship with the majority of legislators signed on in support. It's about the people of New Jersey's fundamental rights to breathe clean air and drink clean water. It's time for the New Jersey Green Amendment to be advanced and to let the people choose for themselves, for all of us, for our watershed, and for generations yet to come.
My name is Madison, and I've grown up in Jersey all of my life, and I love New Jersey. Yeah. But I'm disappointed in us for not allowing the right to clean air and water. I grew up on the shore, and I watched Sandy destroy homes all around me, and I didn't understand why this was. And it's not fair. It's not fair that my children who I want to raise in New Jersey might not have the right to clean air and clean water. And if we're having bipartisan support in both the Senate and the Assembly, we should be voting on this immediately. Yes. We should be allowing a future for everyone, no matter who they are, no matter what they believe in. Everyone supports this, so why are we waiting?
And we've got two more speakers. First we have Victoria, and then we've got Assemblyman Mukherji, a legislative champion, on the way.
Hi, my name is Victoria. I'm also a college student, and at this point it's very clear that climate is something that we all care about and we're all waiting for action for. There are things that people like to argue about when we talk about taking climate action, changing our policies, but this is one of the most fundamental things that we can do right now to ensure that future generations are saved and that we all have the right to enjoy clean environment. This is such a basic first step, and it's long overdue. And it would be really nice at this point to just see some action from our leaders, some movement, because we've been waiting for so long, and yet this is such a, as I said, just fundamental thing, common sense to action to pass. And so we want this first step to happen. We want a hearing, and honestly, it's not too much to ask for in the face of such an urgent crisis.
Before we close out with a chant of It's Our Right, we're going to hear from another one of our powerful legislative champions, Assemblyman Mukherji, who's going to close us out.
The struggle to save our planet will be the defining challenge, not only for all of us and during our lifetime, but during our children's lifetimes and in their children's lifetimes. The Green Amendment shouldn't be controversial. This is a reasonable measure, and it safeguards New Jersey's public natural resources. It ensures that these natural resources, these public natural resources, are the property of the public, right? That's self-explanatory. And it enshrines into our Constitution this basic expectation, this right, that we should all enjoy a clean and healthy environment, pure water, clean air. And I think that these are reasonable expectations. I think that legislation and regulations that follow should abide that constitutional language rather than special interests or profiteering when it's at the expense of this planet. We are supposed to leave our planet, our resources, to the next generation improved in value, not impaired. But we're leaving it worse off. And we got to step back and ask ourselves about the big picture and how we got here. So thank you for all of your advocacy, and hopefully we can see this through and allow the voters to have a choice on whether their environment belongs to them. Thank you.
But we got one last speaker. Before we do that, Doug O'Malley.
All right, Maya, thank you so much. Thank you.
You got 1 minute, man.
1 minute. And 1 minute for environmental protection is more time than we need to be able to say that the residents of New Jersey deserve a protection in their state constitution for clean air, clean water, and the right to a clean environment. Other states have moved forward with this protection. It's helped the residents of Pennsylvania. There's no reason why New Jersey residents should not have this right ingrained, not assumed, not protected potentially by the legislature or potentially by a governor, but rights that are built into the Constitution, to be able to see threats before they happen and to be there so that the residents of the state don't necessarily have to come directly to the State House. We will always do that, but we want to make sure that our rights are enshrined in our state constitution. So I'm so proud to be here. Thank you, Maya. Thank you, everybody else. And let's get this done.
It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right.
So hello, my name is Christian Wright, and I'm the social media coordinator of the New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition. And as a recent high school graduate, there's probably a million things running in my head right now, thinking about who do I want to be when I grow up, where do I want to study, where do I want to live. But one thing that I don't want to stress about is if I'm actually able to breathe in the future. That's specifically why I stand here before you today to get the Green Amendment out to the floor and to the public peoples to vote on, because I don't want that future, I want that stress in my future, and I don't want my children to have to stress about that. So please, for the future generation's sake, can we please get the Green Amendment up for a vote? Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming. My name is Margaret Berei. I'm with the New Jersey Student Sustainability Coalition, representing over 500 plus students across the state, representing many different districts, especially for our BIP legislators, Scutari, and Coughlin. Yeah, not thinking in the past. I'd like to say the Green Amendment, when I first heard about it, I was surprised that this was not already secured in our state constitution. It's such a basic human right, the right to breathe, pure air, drink clean water. That's something that you cannot live without. And the fact that that is not secured in our state constitution is really, really surprising and a little bit absurd. That is such a common sense bill, and we've been waiting on it for 4 years now. We've been fighting our campaign for about a year and a half now, and it's really time. The time is now. Us students, we are not willing to wait. We have many years ahead of us, but I do not want those years to be jeopardized without the rights to clean air, pure water, stable climate, and a healthy environment. And we came down here, I personally missed school, to have my voice be heard. Yeah, very exciting. Definitely funner to be in Trenton than to be in school right now, even though it's June. However, we came down here for a reason. We skipped school for a reason. We want our voices to be heard, and we do not want us missing school to be in vain. We need a hearing on the New Jersey Green Amendment. We need it now. And please don't forget this. I feel like this is often pushed under the rug and said, hey, it will happen next year. It's going to happen in another committee. I'm sorry we can't do it right now. No, the time is now. Climate change is only continuing to get worse, and us students will only multiply and our voices will be stronger. So do it now and don't forget about it. Thank you.
And I am just really proud to be here with so many residents and organizations from across New Jersey to stand together for the right of all New Jerseyans to pure water, clean air, a stable climate, and healthy environments. Not just for the generations here today, but the generations yet to come.
New Jersey is actually one of the first watershed states. The Delaware River watershed encompasses New York, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania. New Jersey is actually one of the first states where we put forth a legislative proposal almost 5 years ago now. And we're here today to talk about how disappointed we are that it's now the last that's not able to even get a hearing, right? We've passed it in Pennsylvania, we've passed it in New York. We had a legislative hearing just yesterday in Delaware. And for some reason, even with a majority of all legislators signed on as sponsors and huge bipartisan support, we're still not able to get even just a hearing to have a discussion about it.
As I said, my name is Rachel Dawn Davis. I'm the public policy and justice organizer for Waterspirit, which is a Monmouth County-based nonprofit spiritual ecology center and ministry of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Peace. And I brought the Green Amendment to this organization because I believe so deeply in its power for all people. I was specifically hired to fully express the mission of hearing the cry of the earth and the cry of the poor. And what I have seen in working, especially in this role the last couple of years, is a continuation of racism, of environmental racism, and all those policies, whether it's housing or combined sewer overflow systems. Racism is alive and well in New Jersey, and it has been for a really long time. And so where we see these increased climate catastrophes that are happening, only with more and more gusto as the days go by, obviously the overburdened communities are suffering so much more than anyone has ever needed to, and it's not fair, but it's also New Jersey's failed leadership to implement the environmental justice law, which is landmark legislation across the country, but has not been enacted yet. The rules just came out last Monday to actually be put in place. This is far too long. It is taking New Jersey way too long, took too long with slavery, and it's taking too long with climate change. And I would say climate chaos versus climate change and climate disaster. Obviously, all of these issues are going to disproportionately affect young people, as they already are. Young people all over the country are climate migrants. They decide whether or not to go to school based upon the weather. And like I said in my testimony, 10 years ago I gave birth today. So I had seen, potential for my unborn children, and now they're here, right? This is 10 years, and it goes by in a blink. I can say that now having done it. But this is not okay. This is so far before my entire lifetime. These policies were put in place, again, strategically to keep some people down and other people up. And now we have a chance to stop that. We have the first recognition of Juneteenth, right? We should be moving forward in New Jersey with, of course, regardless of the political party in power, we need these rights. So it doesn't matter whether it's this administration or the next one or the next one, we need to have these rights now. And we do have the power, like has been discussed. We have a majority to pass this legislation. Why is New Jersey leadership so afraid of allowing its citizens or its residents to partake in ensuring their own inalienable rights to clean air, clean water, a stable climate, and healthy environments? I don't have that answer. There is no answer. The students are not afraid to go to school where they're potentially going to be gun violence situations. So why are the legislators running away from students when they're trying to talk to them about this? It's totally backwards. It makes no sense, and it's also an impetus for complete change.
We haven't been granted a hearing so that our voices could be heard. So we needed today to take the time to not just demand from our legislators that they give us a hearing, but also to give students and people from across New Jersey the opportunity for a little mini people's hearing. So they had a moment to actually give voice to their concerns and their hopes, wishes, and dreams for a clean, safe, healthy environment and an actual environmental right here in New Jersey.
Sure. So if we were able to pass a green amendment for the state of New Jersey, it would be a huge empowering tool in the first place, for advocates to be able to stand up for their constitutional rights that would be put on par with their right to clean air, their right to free speech, their right to freedom of religion. So it's a huge tool for advocacy. And then when something goes wrong, when the government screws up and approves a permit that infringes on the rights of the people, it gives people access to go to the courts and demand that the government fix it and protect, not infringe upon their constitutional environmental rights.
The air, the water, the land, the air, the atmosphere above us, the climate, it's all tied together. We recognize it. Unfortunately, the Constitution as it exists devotes time and words to property rights, acquiring property. It talks in general that every person's deserve happiness, but it doesn't define what happiness is. I say it's essential that happiness includes clean air and clean water and natural environments that we can visit for our mental health. We've waited too long for this. It's time for the powers that be in the legislature, the Speaker of the Assembly, the President of the Senate, to enable the democratic process to go forth, to have the committee hearings that are necessary, and a vote by each house that we hope, given the number of co-sponsors the resolutions have, that it will be before the voters in November as a choice on their ballot to make an amendment change.
I noticed that you said Delaware is moving forward. New York has already passed it.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania has already passed it. We're the lone holdout in the DRBC area, right?
Well, that is exactly right. Right, Pennsylvania has a constitutional green amendment that was passed years ago, and we've been using it in really powerful ways to protect the environment and environmental rights. We haven't solved all problems. Yes, there's still fracking in Pennsylvania, but we actually have had some really powerful victories even in the fracking context, that prevented the exponential expansion of that industry beyond their already heavy and harsh footprint. New York passed their constitutional green amendment in November. They had to get past the amendment through the legislature twice before the people got a chance to vote. In the state of Delaware, the Green Amendment is advancing. In Delaware, too, it's going to have to go through 2 legislative sessions. But yesterday and today, it was given a hearing. So we'll see how the process goes, but at least the legislators want to hear from the people. Here in New Jersey, what's so concerning is New Jersey is actually the first state in the modern era to put forth a constitutional green amendment, right? Pennsylvania and Montana got theirs years ago. New Jersey's, I believe in my recollection, was proposed before New York State. And yet New Jersey is way behind everybody else. We have nearly a dozen other states across the nation with Green Amendment proposals. And there the legislators at least want to hear from the people and want to consider the option. And here in New Jersey, we've got individual legislators like Assemblyman McKeon and Senator Zwicker, right, Assemblywoman Jasey, who are coming forth as powerful champions, but their colleagues continue to force the Green Amendment to sit on the sidelines.
Jersey have a green amendment, have the right to clean air and clean water, stable climate, as our Riverkeeper said, is so very, very important. You know, I was thinking as we come here today, as we talk about, we're at a moment when we are going through the New Jersey budget, when we are trying to figure out what we're going to do about lead paint, what we're going to do about lead in our water, what we're going to do about ensuring that pollution is not disproportionately impacting our most vulnerable communities. The thing that we need is the underlying foundation. And that underlying foundation is the Green Amendment. Because at that point, we are saying this is so important that it is in the Constitution of New Jersey that every single New Jerseyan has the right, every single day, for clean air and clean water.